Are you Larry R. Bumgarner Jr.?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, this is case number 16-191, State of Iowa versus Larry R. Bumgarner Jr. Bumgarner is prepared by Zoom from the jail. Bumgarner was placed on community control for failure to appear on March the 9th, 2017. It's been a case issue for his arrest, and the time has been polling since December the 10th of 2018. Court received a notification that you've been taken into custody, and this morning there was a notification filed by Officer Balser, who's also present by Zoom from the probation department, that alleges that you violated Rule 2, which required you originally, when you were put on community control, to report to APA, and that was transferred over to the county probation department a couple years ago. And it alleges that on or about 9/20/18, you failed to report as ordered by your supervising officer. Now, Mr. Bumgarner, you were convicted of a third-degree felony, which carries a possible prison term of between 9 and 36 months in certain increments that are provided by law. You also subject to a $10,000 fine. In the event that it is found that you have violated this condition, one of three things can happen. I can return your continue your community control under the same conditions previously ordered. I can continue it with additional conditions that I think are appropriate, including extending your supervision up to 5 years, although the time since December of 18 hasn't counted anyway, on the original 3 years. The third, the most serious, is I can revoke your community control and sentence you to prison for between, like I said, 9 and 36 months, fine you $10,000. Now, you're entitled to have a hearing on these allegations, Mr. Bumgarner. That's not what we're doing today. Today is just to notify you what you're charged with. But usually we set a hearing in about 10 to 14 days to give you time to prepare for that hearing. You can subpoena witnesses to testify on your behalf. The state will have to prove that you committed this violation by evidence that's presented to the prosecutor's office. You may testify on your own behalf, although you're not required to do so. You may subpoena witnesses to testify for you, although you don't have to present any evidence if you don't wish to. And you're entitled to have an attorney to represent you, to cross-examine witnesses, to assist you in defending against the allegation and to advocate on your behalf. If you do not have the funds to hire an attorney, the court will appoint one for you at no cost. Now, Mr. Bumgarner, you understand the allegation against you?
Yes, sir, I do.
And you understand the possible consequences of a finding that you have failed to comply could end up in a prison term?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you wish to have an attorney to represent you in this matter?
No.
Pardon me?
No, sir.
And you understand that if you don't have the money to hire an attorney, that the court will appoint one for you at no cost?
Yes, sir.
Right? And do you, have you been threatened in any way to make you give up your right to have an attorney?
No, sir, I haven't.
Has anyone promised you anything in order to get you to give up your right to have an attorney?
No, sir, they haven't.
You understand that if you do not have an attorney, if you give up that right, that you have to make your own decisions regarding this proceeding and how to advocate for yourself and to defend against this charge. You have to be acting as your own attorney. You understand that?
I do.
All right? Well, if you don't want to have an attorney, then you have to sign a waiver, which is a form that says that you are waiving and giving up your right to have an attorney, so that can be filed in the paper file, so if somebody looks at it, it'll be there on record, also be on the computer. And so I believe that the deputy there has a form, and that form with this type of waiver, counsel waiver, needs to give up. And if it's filled out, it will say that I, Larry R. Bumgarner Jr., defending your injury now open court, fully understand under the laws of the state I have the right to legal representation. I do hereby affirmatively waive my right to be represented by counsel. And does she have that form there in front of you?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Bumgarner, if you don't want to have an attorney, then you can sign that, and then that will be filed to show that you gave up your right to have an attorney. Now, if you change your mind, you want an attorney, that's fine too. Don't sign it, I'll appoint counsel for you. So what's your decision?
I would like to go forward today.
Okay, so you don't want to have an attorney to represent you?
No, sir, I don't need
All
one.
right, well, if you don't, then sign that paper there, on the line above where it says defendant, and show it to me. Just hold it up a little further. Okay, that's your signature there. It looks like just Larry Bumgarner. That's how you sign your name?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. And you understand that by signing that form, you're confirming for the file that you're giving up the right to have an attorney appointed to represent you in this, case.
Yes, sir.
All right. The next step now, Mr. Bumgarner, is for you to determine whether you're going to, deny or admit the allegation. If you deny, that means that you're denying that you committed any violation, that you would like to require the state to prove its case and to have the opportunity to present evidence in your own behalf opposing that. And if you do, then we'll set the hearing out for about 10, 14 days, give you a chance to prepare for the hearing, subpoena witnesses if you have any. Now, if you admit to the violation, you're admitting what they are alleging is true, and that you have violated the term of committed control, and if you do that, that means you could be sentenced to prison between 9 and 36 months and fined $10,000. Now, do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you have any questions about the allegation or the possible penalties?
Yes, sir, I do.
You understand this?
Yes, sir, I do.
And with the understanding of the possible consequences, then, do you admit or deny the allegation that was filed this morning that you violated Rule 2?
I admit.
Right? And let's see, Mr. Balser, when did, I forgot, what was the date that probation took over all the cases like? Was it April 19?
January 2020.
Well, they started in January, but I think they were all switched over by April, weren't they? Okay.
Yes.
Although he was probably in the first group, because I think all the people who were responding and everything were switched over early, so.
Correct.
And so you've never met Mr. Bumgarner until this morning?
Have not.
All right. Okay. Mr. Bumgarner, is there anything you'd like to say to me about what I should do with this situation since you've been a absconder for over 2 years?
Mr. Carlos, I just say that until this, I had this morning, they had an alcohol. They came out with a hand check and everything. I also got, I got some of the parolees up there out at a strong trust that we got this boy. I'm supposed to start in a building stone tonight. My mother, I know her, she's been 4 years old, just had get surgery, and I'm pretty much for Gary's help. I had no problem with probation period.
Well, no, you didn't have any problem because you weren't being supervised, you weren't reporting. I'm more interested in why didn't you report and where have you been?
I've been at the same place. I've never been that hard.
So why didn't you report after you called in and the officer was sick, they told you to call back, and then you didn't, they sent you a letter and you didn't, they went to your house and nobody answered, so why didn't you report?
Wait, I had no reason to.
No excuse, okay, that's what
I'm listening to Mr. Nelson. My mother was the one who died pretty much where I go. And we have a PO box. I didn't get the letter, but I will check this up when I went up. There was somebody that was FPN, maybe it was on vacation or whatever. He didn't give me the card that they could get a hold of me. And then I just never got the letter from my mother's terrible mail. And I'm just begging for another opportunity. Reason I haven't been in serious trouble for a long time, serious trouble. And,
what do you mean by a long time?
I don't know, on a scale of 1 to 2.
I mean, this is serious trouble, you've been in serious trouble, in this case, and that was, less than 4 years ago, and then you've been absconding for over 2 years, so, I would consider that to be serious trouble if I were you, if I were in your shoes.
I haven't had any issues with any law enforcement. I've been keeping my nose fingers, what I'd like to say. I understand why not showing up to probation is not keeping my nose clean, I do understand that. But he told me after the year that he would release me, and I have been, and, I paid all my reinstatement fees for my driver's license. I had $150 to pay, and I get my driver's license back. I got a 1-year-old grandson. It's really like an opportunity there.
Well, didn't you have that opportunity to report?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Yeah,
I
you had
did.
it for over 2 years, now 2.5 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right, anything else you'd like to say?
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Bumgarner, looking back here at your time, one of the reasons you got the break you did is because, you know, you had 7 felony convictions, but, you know, the newest one was in 1994, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And so, even though and that was your last felony, now, that doesn't mean to say you haven't been in trouble, because actually looking at your record, I mean, it'd be easier to pick out the years from 1994 till today, because you didn't have a problem. Let's look here. 98, you didn't have any charges. 2001, 2004, 2006. So up until 2017, over that period of 23 years, there were 5 of those years you didn't get a charge. They varied from FRA suspension, OVI, driving without consent, which was amended down from an F5 in 99, failure to comply in 2007, the driver's license, criminal damaging, you know, on and on and on. Despite all that, I gave you community control. And all you had to do was report and comply. You would have been off in probably 1.5 years. But instead, you know, you absconded and didn't report after March of 18. And, you know, if you had reported in September and, you know, a couple more times, you paid off the court costs, then the officer probably would have recommended that you be released. They can't release you, only I can release you. But, you know, you didn't do what you're supposed to do. And then you took off, and it's taken, you know, 2 years, 2.5 years, over 2.5 years, to finally get a hold of you to get you back in front of the court. And so, based on that, Mr. Bumgarner, well, you don't have a job, do you?
Yeah, I'm supposed to start at almost 10 tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready to get it.
And where'd you get picked up over the weekend?
Out at Mountain Fork. I don't recommend my family. I had my family out there, my grandson and my son.
Well, why did the police come in contact with you? They stop you or something?
Yes.
Well, for what?
It was, I don't know, 11 o'clock, it was like, I've been forced to,
And you were driving?
yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Alright. So you didn't turn yourself in? Alright. So it's a judgment of the court that you have not responded to community control. You've shown you're not amenable, as you won't even report. Therefore, the court has revoked your community control. It's a judgment of the court to be sentenced to the Correctional Central Center in Orion, Ohio for a period of 12 months. I believe, when did you get arrested?
Last night.
Last night? Alright, so according to the sheriff, at the time of the sentencing, you didn't have any jail time credit. And you were in a private treatment center, so that was not a lockdown facility. You were summoned on this charge originally. So you have 1 day of jail time credit. Upon completion of this sentence, the Adult Parole Authority will place you under PRC for a period of post-release control supervision for a period of 3 years. You'll be supervised by a parole officer on the terms they set. If you fail to comply, they have the authority to return you to prison, make you serve an additional period of up to 6 months for 1 or more violations. But if you've been a felony, then in addition to whatever sentence the judge in the new case can impose, that judge can also sentence you for violating conditions in this case for another additional period of 1 year. whatever time left on the 3 years of post-release control, whichever is greater. If that occurs, that would have to be served consecutively to sentence in a new case. You're also ordered to pay the court costs, which judgment grant execution is ordered. If you fail to do that, then the clerk will collect that through various means, including levying on bank accounts, wages, earnings, or other assets you may have. If that doesn't collect it, once you get out of prison, not while you're in prison, the court could order you to do community service and give you credit for each hour you work in and out of rate set by the court. Each hour you work to reduce your judgment by that amount until paid. Now, you'll be conveyed to the institution. I'm going to tell you right now, Mr. Baumgartner, save your time and effort and false hopes in filing for judicial release, because I'm revoking you for not complying with community control. There's no reason to believe you comply in the future. Why I'm revoking you? So you can, if you fill out your application or your request for judicial release, I'm going to deny it. I'll tell you that right now. So just so you know.